All right, we are recording.
All right, I'd like to call this meeting of the Library Board Strategic Planning Committee to order at 5:02 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
We'd all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Miss Brittany,
Greetings.
would you please take the roll?
Yes. Gail,
I'm here.
Michelle,
Here.
Nancy.
Here.
All right, and Elka library staff is also joining us today.
All right, outstanding. If you would make the statement of public notice, please.
This meeting was noticed in accordance with the open meeting law.
Thank you. This is the time on the agenda for public comment. I don't see anyone here. Is there anyone on Zoom?
Nobody online.
All right, so hearing none, we can move to a request for a motion to approve the minutes of June 8, 2021. And I'm not sure why he has two lines there.
It just has the it's the attachment title below, and then
Okay.
the actual way it was entered. on
Okay,
top.
so it's just I'm looking for a motion to approve the June 8th, 2021
Yep.
meeting minutes. And I should-
Motion to approve.
Okay, and I second because Nancy was not a member at that
Correct.
point. Okay. So, any changes, corrections, anything of that nature? Okay, it was fine to me too. Hearing none, I'm assuming two votes work in this place because it's a, so all those in favor signify by saying aye. Michelle and I, Nancy, abstain. Okay, any abstentions?
Too bad Aaron's not here.
Right,
know.
I get to use, I get to use the abstention, woohoo!
He
Any
always wants
abstentions?
somebody to abstain.
Yeah. Well, he's going after me on that one.
Oh.
Yeah, so, and Nancy would be an abstention, and the motion passes. Yeah, he's busting my chops on abstention,
Gotcha.
so.
Thank you, Elka.
Yes,
The
thank you.
chairperson's report, I really have nothing. It's just things we're going to be discussing within the meeting, so I think we can pass on that one. Any unfinished business that you're aware of? I am not.
Nope.
Okay. So then we go to our new business topic for tonight, which is discussion and action on the 2022 action plan draft.
All right. So the purpose of this meeting is just to take a look at the draft so far that the staff has put together of the 2022 action plan. The goal at the end of this conversation is for the strategic planning committee to make a recommendation to the full board to review it and hopefully ultimately accept it. Just know that anything you see tonight, that doesn't mean that we can't make changes later when
Okay.
the board, reviews it. You can still make comments later.
Okay.
And just as a friendly reminder that the committee here has advisory recommendations, but not full authority, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you guys could be like, this is it, this is the plan, we're done, and then run away with it. So when I say we're taking action tonight, it's action from the strategic planning committee's perspective.
It's a recommendation.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Because we're not even a quorum of the board, so
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would not work.
Yet still important to me. So, this is not going to look too, I would say, surprising or shocking. Most of these all of these goals, so the goals are listed in bold, come straight from our strategic plan. These goals were also on our previous action plan as well, because those goals carry through for the 4 years. What changes are the action items underneath. So these are the metrics we use to try to meet these goals every year. Some of these action items that you see, most of them are from the strategic plan. Some of them were new ideas that staff came up with. Over time, we have a few extra ideas that come up from the time that we did the strategic planning process in 2019. New technologies arise. Things change. Hopefully I get a little bit smarter, things like that. So there's going to be a few new things here, but a lot of it are from the strategic plan. The other thing I'd wanted to point out is that some of these will look very familiar because as we have been moving through the strategic plan, not everything gets finished. Some of the items are still in progress and probably won't be completed, and some of them we just did not have time to attend to. Mm-hmm. And so anything that's in progress from the 2021 action plan that I don't think we will finish, I'd put on this plan, provided that I still feel it's relevant. And then anything that we just didn't get a chance to attend to also gets moved on to this action plan.
How about in the other direction? If something was in it and for some reason we got wise and thought that wasn't a good, can that be eliminated? Just
absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
It's a living plan, and so the strategic plan is merely it captures the data that we had at the time. But yes, we definitely should, and that's why we meet. Yeah. If we didn't do that, then we wouldn't need to meet as a committee. So yeah, Nancy, that's a great question. So yeah, so I believe in the interest of time, we can do one of two things. I can go through them line by line, or we can go through it, what I would recommend, larger goal by larger goal, and then within it I'll just ask, does anyone have any questions based on that goal? And then, some of them are self-explanatory, so that would be my recommendation for how to move through the meeting. So, first goal is update the Muskego Public Library facility. Anything on there that you want to further explanation on, questions, concerns?
I will say this, when I first read it on the weekend, I was shocked that we need a new roof. That a new roof was even thought of, because I still think of this as a brand new roof. I'm sorry, but it's
20 years.
Yeah.
And I've been in Muskego for 50 years, so
sure.
I've been in the basement over.
Nancy's been in the basement.
And new roof already.
So, and that is based on obviously a roofing contractor and also general maintenance saying, like, we think that this is going to happen. Yeah. My next step is investigate, because what I want to do is I want to get 3 companies to get up there and tell me what's the state of things. Now, they're roofing companies. They're very motivated to tell us that we need a new roof probably, but our maintenance has also said that our leaks have increased over the years. We're starting to see more leaks coming in the building, which is damaging our materials. He has to go up and nail nails down that keep,
Does George do
working
that?
their way?
George does that, yeah.
Working their way up.
Our gutters are not in a good place. I've had to do some remediation measures a couple of months ago to stop the water from just dumping through the. Our gutters aren't seamless gutters, so the water can leak through the seams and forms these massive ice pools. Yeah. And I have photos that I could grab and show you, but it becomes a skating rink, which is not great. And so it's interesting. When I started, I don't recall hearing about many leaks, and over the years, I've just seen it increase. So I do think it's a good time to get people to walk the roof based on maintenance's recommendation and the water that we're seeing starting to come in the building. And who knows, maybe based on those 3 estimates, they'll give me an average that, hey, maybe we can eke out another couple of years, or maybe they'll say not. So.
Based on what our roof cost a couple of years ago, I would assume that the cost to replace this roof is going to be pretty substantial.
It will be very high.
And
yes.
So, forgive me for not remembering, but do you have the Common Council kind of on notice? It's already in our capital.
Correct. Yeah.
For 2025.
Okay. And that's why the city does 4-year out capital planning. So we already have. Even before the 4 years, I had sent an email to finance and the previous mayor, and I had said, just so you know, the parking lot, the parking lot definitely needs to be fixed.
Yep.
And the roof are looking to be coming due at around the same time. So they actually got more than 4 years notice, and now it's officially on their radar. It was on the most recent 4-year plan. So now I want to get the numbers so I can see where my estimates, just based on an eyeball that one roofing company did for me, is that right where we want it to be, and I want to talk to some more people. And then we'll be able to tell, like, yeah, this is 2025 or...
Are you divulging that, Britt?
divulge.
You know, are we talking $500,000 or what are we talking for
Well,
a roof this size?
200,000.
200,000.
Say.
That was
Pure
the initial
square footage,
estimate.
let alone all the
So-
other potential
Yeah.
repairs and
And depending
that
upon
kind
what
of thing.
the
Gutters,
gutters, I know.
all of that.
That's sort of a starting off point.
Did you put a number in as a place card holder like you did with RFID
did,
too?
yep.
So, and was it around 200?
I think I had it
remember
at
which-
like 180,
180,
and then
okay.
that was based on a very basic estimate, and then I got a better estimate when we repaired some of the gutters this year, and then they pushed it more towards like 215, and I'm sure that number is going to inch up a bit more. But that's why I want to get the estimates now, so that by the time I do the capital presentation next year, and it's a 3-year out project or 2-year out project, they're having a better number.
And the parking lot, the same thing. And are you going to
Correct.
separate them by, the parking lot could be 2024 and the roof 2025? Are you looking to do both of them the same year?
The 2025 for the roof was just based on what maintenance and the one contractor had said, like, your roof has about this many years on it. So 2025 was that number. But again, that could flex. The parking lot was based on me seeing it start to degrade, and in fact, it was kind of startling to see. We did seal coating back in 2019, and I was shocked at how fast those lines wore down already. That was a little frustrating for me. And the same potholes that are getting deeper and deeper keep coming back. They put cold patch in it, and it's just they're not. So anyway, the parking lot is just very due based on that, and so I was trying to figure out if I wanted to put it in 2024 or 2025. I was looking to obviously spread out the projects, right? So we're not like trying to ask for $1 billion in 1 year and nothing in the next year. So I just sort of have to see where the roof lands, because I would like to separate them out if I could.
Right.
Doing those 2 projects in the same year would make me cry.
The prices are not going to go down.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And of course, you could gently remind them we didn't take any money in 1 year or 2. So.
I know. Yep.
Memories are short. Okay, all right. So, because those are big ones.
Yes, they are. So we're starting early, basically. So we'll be prepared.
Okay.
What kinds of things are you thinking for the outdoor amphitheater? Just like general idea of.
So staff feedback and observation was that there was lots of like sun beating down on people. It's kind of you feel like you're an ant with a magnifying glass. And so the goal is to plant some trees back there, try to provide some natural shade. There was a suggestion at one point to look into what it would cost to put large like metal pillars in the ground and have like sun sails that stretch across, which would be nice and classy. So I want to sort of see what that would
netting
cost.
or something like that.
Is there any possibility of something like that becoming an Eagle Scout project?
Yes.
Because I get so many calls about, give me an idea for my project, Mrs. Kangazer.
I actually have a couple of Eagle Scout projects at the ready, so if you
Okay.
ever have an Eagle Scout, send them my way.
Thank you.
I've been there's a lot of like landscaping projects that I've been starting to walk around and be like, ooh, we need a better retaining wall here. Oh, I'd love to stop these wood chips from washing out onto our sidewalks, things like that. So yeah, I have some, and actually I had an Eagle Scout come by and I was talking to him about installing sun sails. And he ended up finding a project with the city elsewhere that was more, I think, to his abilities or interests. But yes, always willing to entertain that as an option. And in fact, that amphitheater was an Eagle Scout project to begin with. So it would be kind of cool to see it enhanced similarly.
I'm wondering too, they get hit up all the time, so I'm not suggesting they be hit up for it, but that like Impro, for an example, makes a lot of those different kinds of things that if somebody might be willing to help the scout, for an example, and tell them what the materials should be or something like that, they maybe would be a great resource for that. They also do wayfinding signage. I mean, they do so many different kinds of things.
They're so community oriented.
And they are. For a long time they were getting hit up for everything. I know. So I think they kind of backed off, and I don't blame them. But they may be able to, or be willing to provide a consultant role or something like that to help a project along.
They'd be a fun group to work with.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. Technically, that area is not ADA accessible. It does have like a small cement patio lead off. I can't remember what's wrong with it. I would have to look back at our accessibility report. There's just something that doesn't technically, I don't know if it's the grading on I can't remember what it is, but there's something where like maybe if we could add like even a part of it out to make it accessible for someone.
Too steep, perhaps?
Yeah, I cannot remember what it is. Maybe put some benches along the back row. Sitting on that cement is great for certain bodies. Some bodies might prefer not cement or not have to go down as far, and so just having some benches crowning that top area would be kind of cool. Those are some just initial thoughts.
And I guess that begs the question, are we going to be using it more often to warrant all of that too? I mean, do you have plans for it?
I asked that question because for a while we were not using it, and I don't want to invest funds or time and effort, but staff have indicated that they are interested in maybe not like to the like everyday story time, but certainly
use it as a resource.
Yeah, I think there's an interest. And not a lot of people rent it out. You actually can rent out the amphitheater. I do wonder if we enhance it a bit, if it might also be just a better community resource or spot
and
as
make
well.
it known more.
Yeah,
because there's probably a number of people, unless they come in the pick and save way, they don't even know that it's there. So that's possible as well. Does that answer your question for now?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty.
All right. So goal 2, improve the quality and access to the Muskego Public Library facilities to improve the patron experience.
The only thing that I had there, and it was more an editing function, was I wasn't sure what you meant by quality. So when I edited it, I just said improve the aesthetic, comfort, and universal design, quality, and access. I put the descriptive up there, so maybe that answers the question. They didn't know what quality is. And you're getting this, of course. So the word itself, what that meant actually, and I think I think the 3 where you say consider, and then the 3 items perhaps describe what needs an upgrade in quality. Does that make sense?
Isn't quality in the mind of the beholder?
I guess, that's what I was saying. I wasn't sure how, if maybe, because I didn't know how it was being described, I guess. So that was my only comment.
The 3 words after that, consider aesthetic, comfort, and universal design, those are the definition of quality.
That's what I'm thinking. So it's misplaced. It should be before the word quality. That would be my humble opinion on that. Okay. So it would be improve the aesthetic, comfort, and universal design quality and access to the Muskego Public Library facilities to improve the patron experience. Just for an example.
Do you all feel comfortable making an edit like that? So these goals are the framework of the original plan. So they're lifted right from the plan.
They're lifted
and so
from
the question is,
well, then never mind.
Do we want to deviate from that?
Yeah. So I didn't have the plan in front of me, obviously. So
but it's something.
I don't want to upset the apple cart, if that's the way it's written. It's amazing how you see things differently after a long time away from it.
Yeah, well, it's a big document. There's lots of words in it. And this goal does carry on. Nope, never mind. Anything else from that goal before we move on?
Let's see, is that part of it? It's not carried over to the next page now. Okay.
Yeah, I was wrong. All right. Page 6. Introduce infrastructure changes leading to increased staff efficiencies and or improved patron service levels. The big one here, of course, is the RFID implementation. Sure. And, these actions are not, they all appear to be weighted the same, right? It's not like we assign a value system to them. We're like, this is a level 5 action item. This is a big one. I would say of all of the actions here, this one will take the most time, the most strain, the most impact to our collection. So these types of projects, and I'm telling this to the personnel committee too, this project will be one of the biggest projects of this library's collection history. Probably on par with when, trying to take it from the card catalog to an ILS, because this is touching every single item in the collection and sort of changing our workflows. So, looking forward to it.
And not to make light of that, but the only question that I had was, I don't know what shelving recalibration of the media area means.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to find a way to make it succinct. Basically, staff are going to be introducing some taller shelves to let the collection breathe a bit because the DVDs are getting really tight. So they're taking down some of the shorter shelves, bringing in taller shelves. Yeah, so it sounds very mysterious, doesn't it?
I was just like, what might that be? Okay.
All right, so now we're into services. That's our second strategic initiative within our strategic plan. The first goal there is place a strong focus on programs and resources for children. The second goal is providing engaging services and programming to young adults. And then the third one is innovative and appealing programming for adults.
Are you still looking into a winter's market for sooner than, like, not for this year, right?
Yeah, not for this year. We're going to try for it for next year.
Okay.
And we've done, I think, zero research on that so far.
Right.
So I don't know what the feasibility is. I just love the idea of it. So how successful it will be or whatnot. I just remember my church doing it, and it was just so much fun. I got eggs and ground bison and jam, and it was fun. And it's harder to get people to come to farmers markets during the summer because they're so busy and they're going all over the place into really larger communities.
And I think farmers market and summer kind of, right?
Yeah.
You don't think about farmers market in the winter time.
Yeah. But all those folks that jam, can, and pickle things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only good sized one that I'm aware of is at the Domes, and I don't even know if they're running that one anymore.
Oh, that would be
Doesn't
pretty.
And Madison has one.
And Madison, that would, yeah, because theirs is so great all the time.
All right. Page 7. This one is sort of the same every year, developing professional development, so continuing those two items. And forgive the bullet point, the wayward bullet point. I could not fix that in time.
There's
for
another
the
one
second
too.
Yes, it made me quite frustrated, and I couldn't figure it out, but I will fix it. But the second goal: analyze how Muskego Library Services reach our patrons and remove or remove barriers to service access.
When that goal was written, we certainly didn't know about COVID, did we?
Mm-hmm.
We did not. That was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, would have.
And just since we're talking about these things, since we're going to be headed into 2022 and the plan goes through 2023, because there's no plan obviously for 2024, where some of these items we were previously talking about, do you have a particular timeline yet, or is it too early to even be thinking about the next strategic plan?
Oh, it's never too early, and I have been thinking about it. No, so basically 2023, on the action plan for 2023, you will see a line item that says strategic planning process for the next strategic plan. I mean, you won't see that here.
Oh, I can't.
But,
Okay.
Because this is the 2022 action plan. On the 2023 action plan, we will devote time, energy, possibly resources to that year, because it took us a year. That whole 2019, focus groups, interviews, talking with the board, talking with staff, community survey, and so 2023 will be the development of all of those, and that's where strategic planning, you guys will earn your badges, because that's when we have a couple more meetings than usual, if you are still on this committee at that time.
And that's the document I edited.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be a noted and tracked as
we're too early, but it just made me think of it because we're talking about items outside a strategic plan, like the roof and the, all of those kinds of things, and I mean, as it should be, but just it's coming up.
Yeah, and in fact, the actual strategic plan does have a section here that says collect data and develop 2024 to 2027 strategic plan
in there.
Yep. So because I don't want to. It took a lot of effort, and I remember thinking I need to make sure that we set aside time for that, and possibly money, because I would love to improve our survey results. We received decent survey results that were actionable upon, but not, I would say, thrilling. So,
and Elka would probably remember. Was it 3 plans ago that we hired Wills?
Two. Yeah.
Okay.
So it might be worth at least getting a quote from them. Just to,
because I think that was a worthwhile process. I don't know what their cost might be and if it's worth it for what you were able to glean, but what's the wear and tear on you to do all of that, I guess, too. So, well, so since that's a 3rd strategic plan, I'll be involved in what's it, 3 times an out? Somebody else?
Three badges. 3 badges.
Nobody's volunteering, huh? Okay. Anyway,
this will be our 3rd
time
plan.
and out. This is my 3rd plan. So I don't know. 3 times an out is the story, right?
No.
I guess that means I'd have to do this one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta see it through with me, Gail. Okay.
So I had a question.
Yeah.
We've talked about evaluating the library website, getting feedback on that.
Oh,
Can that be added to this?
So, yeah.
I thought that was in there
somewhere. Well,
or is it covered under one of these?
I've had many disappointments over the year. One of my disappointments was how little progress I've been able to make on the communication and marketing plan. That is, if I had to cover like areas that I've spent more time on, it's been facilities because we have the money to spend on that, and services. That marketing plan, I have a new goal on how to stay on track with that, because that mission, vision, and values assessment, both of those things, not a lot of progress has been made. And so it is, I'm going to be setting up planned meetings, so that it doesn't fall away from me. And the website is part of that marketing plan. I want to make, because it's a marketing component for us, and so it will be part of that. And I'm just going to make a note to make sure that it's considered. Now, if you think it should be its own entity listed here, just so we can call it out specifically, I can definitely mention it as its own item.
Well, you kind of do on page 11 under communication outreach, update library website. I don't know if update is the right verb.
Where is that?
On page 11, communication and outreach, the last grouping, you have update library website.
Oh, that's part of the routine verb. Duties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not part of strategic.
Okay.
So I'll make a note to try to figure out if it's better to say review.
Brittany, if I may.
Yes.
The city is currently evaluating the website and rolling out in the early next year. I think they're rolling out a new look, and that impacts our subpage as well. Since we're part of the city website, we don't have a whole lot of flexibility as to what we can do with our subpage.
And you're right. That's a really good point. There are definitely things that we are constrained by, but I'm still interested in how people are using our website, because we might be able to, there are layers to a website, and we could decide. Let me just pull it up. We could decide. So Elka makes a really good point. The template. I just want to get back to the home page. Why can't I click on the header? That's a problem. So we can only have, we couldn't, if we wanted a vertical menu, we can't do that. It has to be this vertical menu. We have to have the search bar here. We have to have this block here. We have options, we could decide, people never click on my account. We should have the Libby button here. So there are definitely aesthetic choices that we can make within here.
And who does that bar? Is that something that the library does, or that
this bar is done by the library? Yes. Yep.
Okay.
But that will go away.
This bar is going away.
It'll be much smaller. There'll be a bigger
No,
background
who decided
picture,
that?
and then
I feel
the
wrong.
committee to
Okay.
talk to Amanda.
I'll talk to Amanda. So on the one
That's what I'm
hand,
thinking does all of this probably.
it will be interesting to wait until we get the new website done. But then there are still choices we could make. We could decide that, you know what, we want it just to say patron services instead of adults, kids, teens. So there's definitely usability and navigation things we can make decisions on. And then there's some things that we don't have a choice on. But I would like to run that study. And we are...
So it's
You're
more of
gonna
an
do that
analytic study that to see what the results are currently and what people are clicking on and all of that to then help you with design.
Yeah, I mean, I want to know what they're having trouble finding.
Yeah.
And I want to know what are we capable of changing that might help them find it better. Like maybe someone stares at this page and I tell them, please find our ebooks, and they go, I can't find it anywhere. That tells me that if a lot of people say that, that tells me that e-resources is not the best wording to use.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I can't control the fact that this is the menu bar, but I can
save something.
I can change it to something else.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe someone says, you know what, I constantly want to know where the bathrooms are in this library and I can never find it. And for some reason they go to the website to find that. I'm not saying that, it's just an example. But maybe that means that I need to add a section here that says, find the bathrooms. You know, so there's definitely things that we can ask about. So I'll have to...
Yeah, I would think you could probably potentially do a lot of expansion on the Tell Me About, because we're always talking about, you know, like Hoopla, Canopy, and, you know, all of those kinds of things. But that doesn't, it looks like there are no links, though. It's just...
It's buried.
So these are links.
Oh, they are links.
These are all links. But, you know, if we do too many links, then it gets buried. If we have too few links, nobody can find anything. If you have too many layers, like if people have to click too many times to get to something, then it's usually not considered good usability for website navigation.
I'm not an expert, obviously, so
yeah, there's things to do, and I am disheartened that I have not made progress on it yet, and the roadblock is all on this side of the table. I just haven't been able to devote as much time to driving that project, but the good news is it is now percolated to the top of my pile because I now recognize that it's not where I want it to be. So, but thank you for pointing that out. I'll either make it a separate action item or make sure people realize it's intentionally included within that plan.
do you know, and I'm not sure how to ask this question, I'm not a big library website user, obviously. Okay.
You'd be perfect for my study.
I'm sorry?
You'd be perfect for my study.
There you go. Do you have any way to correlate how many of our patrons actually use the website? I mean, do you know that, like, big universe number?
There are website analytics, and that would definitely be part. I'd love to build a whole report, like where are people clicking, what are they using it for, things like that.
Because there might be a threshold question of how do we direct people to use the website as a resource, I guess, too. But maybe if most people are, I just happen to not. That I don't want to be the arbiter of how this is supposed to work because I don't do it. That makes sense.
The city does have those numbers, and I can always ask for them. I know that the last time they released the numbers, ours were fairly high, but there was also a reason why. Oh, yeah. Because at the public computers, when anyone opens a browser, it defaults to the library website. So it might artificially inflate our numbers a bit, but also I think our website gets a lot of use because a lot of the things that people need are on this site. So I do think it was inflated, but not inaccurate that our website gets used quite heavily.
I have to ask this question related then. I'm going to make a huge assumption here that younger people use the website more than somebody like me. And I don't want to make assumptions. So to me, that's a fair assumption, but I could be way off. Yeah, and then how do you target the communications to either a group that you want to bring to the website or enhance the ones that are already there?
Well, and that's all what that communication and marketing plan should be covering, because the website is very much a part of it. And part of it is looking at, how are our print marketing doing? How is our website doing? How is our social media doing? And what adjustments do we have to make? Are there any new marketing areas that we need to enter into? So the marketing plan is huge. I mean, it's a big, and it's one of the most important things I think that a library can do, and often what we can fall short at, because there's nothing more heartbreaking than someone saying like, oh, I wish you would do more programs on history, and we're like, we offered like 12 of them in the past year, and but a lot of times, especially I think for this library that is very active and has wonderful staff and great support from the community from a funding standpoint, we're doing it, but not everyone is aware of it. And so I think one of our biggest hurdles is how do we make more people aware of what we're already doing.
That's always the conundrum of advertising for big companies, and that too. I mean, we're not alone. You have a great product, but how do you let people know about it?
And the conundrum here, I think, when you bring up age difference, because I'm in that category where
gray hair.
They're not even asking because that's not in their repertoire.
Exactly.
They don't.
Where
they
some
don't even
people, for
ask.
young people, I think it's kind of an automatic.
Yeah, it's automatic.
For us, it's not so automatic. I do it because I have to, not necessarily because I think of it.
I was made fun of just the other day because I asked something about a phone book, and everybody looked at me like
what?
Well, joke's on them. One time my cell phone tower didn't work, and I was trying to figure out how to find a phone number. So,
does Bridges have a library and marketing plan template? Is that the right way to phrase that?
So, I'm really excited.
You all right? You burn yourself?
We almost had to end this project based on tea spillage, our meeting. I am really excited to start this project, and because there's a lot of resources available to us. We are not going to be alone in this. One, I want to review other libraries' marketing plans. Two, I think that we have the Bridges marketing plan that we can look at.
Okay.
3, there is somebody at Bridges whose specialty is marketing. And
Excellent.
She just emailed me 2 weeks ago and said, hey, are you working on a marketing project? And I was like, yes, a marketing plan. Come talk to me. And, their role at Bridges, they're consultants that they specialize in a certain area, and we're supposed to use them to help guide us in larger projects. And so she is going to meet with me and Amanda, the teen and marketing librarian, and we're just going to talk about
Excellent.
the first steps in launching this project, and it'll be a great lift-off to get the momentum back to this.
Because I would think they'd have input from all libraries too,
Yep.
and are using the brightest and best of what everybody has been doing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we have a lot of good places to launch off with this.
Forgive me, I'm not sure exactly where we're at.
We are at page 7. We're sort of in the communications area. Michelle had asked about the usability study on the website, and I think that's where we're at.
Because I did have one question, and where I think we are, where it says review, update, and train on Muskego Library emergency procedures.
Yep.
And I just put under train who. Does that mean like all library staff? Are there certain staff that are in charge of, for want of a better term, some emergency? Is everybody trained on everything? I guess is kind of where what I'm asking.
My goal is that everyone's trained on everything, because we never know who might be the first responder to a situation.
Yep.
We have a variety of emergency plans, but they were written years ago, and so I wanted us to take a look at them again. And when we have an emergency, like we had a power outage a couple of months ago, it showed me that there were a few things that I needed to add to the plan and also refresh us all on. We don't have an active shooter plan, and I would like to at least have something in place. We've had several critical incidents around the library, and when I see them, the notification is shelter in place, and there was one only 3 minutes from the library, and I was thinking, I wonder what the criteria should be for me to lock down the library. Like, schools have really good criteria. So I met with the police chief, and he was giving me information. So I still have to write up that plan. So really, this is about looking at the plans that had been worked on years ago and making sure, one, they don't need to be updated anymore, or, maybe they do. And then 2, make staff aware of it. And then 3, are there any gaps in our emergency plans? And really, the only one that I can see is sort of a lockdown, lockout plan, if we needed to do that.
What a shame that we've come to that, right?
So yeah, so we're working on that.
So I hate
and
to even ask the question,
Yeah,
but
I
I
know,
think,
I know,
we
yeah.
we have to. I mean,
Yep, it's out there.
because I know, we take the school kids on if something happens there,
Correct,
but then
yeah.
what happens if it moves to us? And, I hate to even think about that or having to spend the time on it, but if it does happen and you're not prepared, that's.
Mhm.
So I don't know where you start and stop on that one.
Yeah, one at a time. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at the lockdown, lockout, and the power outage right now, and then I'll show those updates to staff, and then I'll keep going down the line.
I like what you did on that, by the way. I mean, I know it's not topic of the, but letting people know about the recarpeting. when you walk
Yeah,
in.
I
know that's totally off topic here, but
No, that's okay. Michelle actually did that signage, and so I had asked her to take that part on while I was handling some other stuff, and she did amazing. It looks, usually signage. This type of project needs that much wording. I mean, it's a bit wordy of a signage, but people have a lot of questions, or people may have a lot of questions. So, yeah. All right. Let's dive into page 8. This is the continued goal of increasing awareness of communication. So, anything else on that goal?
On the adult movie screenings, popcorn might help. You're not looking for additional ways.
You know what? And we actually did it happen already?
Yes.
We had a popcorn and soda Saturday movie matinee because we.
That's right. I wasn't there, but I do remember that.
Do you know how the attendance was in there? One person.
Yep, she left halfway through.
Bummer.
What?
Aw.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we should change the wording on this to market movie screenings for adults, because adult movie screenings could be taken as adult movies.
Oh,
XXX.
no.
Not that my mind goes there, but it
Yeah,
does.
but that is
That's a good point.
definitely
Yeah.
not.
So I
what
noted that when I was reading through it.
Oh my gosh, that's a quick way to get some questions.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you say again? Additional?
Market movie screenings to adults.
Yes.
Ways to market movie screenings to adults.
Thank you. Oh, gee whiz.
Otherwise, I was like, woohoo, we're going to get a whole new level of clientele in here.
Create the popcorn for that one.
But we'll get some new card holders.
Oh, gosh.
That was it.
That is a really, really good point.
Isn't it funny how just a little wording can change
Yeah.
the whole-
Everything.
And in my editing, I would tend to do that and miss it. So I didn't even read it and see it as an issue. But thank you for that, because you're absolutely.
I've got the dirty mind.
Yeah.
No, you're good at seeing the whole picture.
Absolutely.
And
Yes, that's my thing.
evaluating multiple
That's
perspectives.
why there's never a committee of one.
Yes.
And I think we will maybe try again. The thing with the movie screenings is there's so many variables. Was it the movie they didn't like? Was it the time of day? Was it the day of the week? Was it just a bad weekend because the
Weather.
weather? There's so many variables. So I'm sure we'll try at least one or two more and see
I
what
remember
happens.
saying at the outset, I remember saying in the room, in room 4, folks, if you don't come back, we're going to lose this,
Yeah.
You got to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Just-
Yeah, I say for me, Saturday morning for a movie is probably not the timing for me, because Saturday morning I kind of have my own schedule and it's busy at home and
It's
whatever.
afternoon.
But it's
I would
Thursday,
look to
Thursday
afternoon as being
yeah.
more entertaining, perhaps in the
It
morning.
was at 1 o'clock. It was in the
Oh,
afternoon.
it was at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I thought it was in the morning.
Nope.
But it takes a while to gain traction on new ideas. So, and the marketing of it continues to be marketing. It's
And who selects the movies? Do you select them?
the library staff do. Yeah.
Well, maybe
And
he or she didn't like being the only person in the room. I mean, it could have even been, something like that too. Like, why am I sitting here when there's nobody else here?
Or you're running a whole movie screening for me, just me?
That'd be awesome.
I
Yeah, I kind of like it.
whole bowl of popcorn to herself. She was quite happy with that. She just got tired of the movie.
We aim to please.
Yeah, I don't have anything on this topic. I'll just give you my suggested edits. Obviously, I missed adult movies, so don't trust what I say. Anybody else have any questions on that? Because if not, we'll move on to the pandemic addendum.
Yeah, and anything else on the communication page? Just as a call out, one of the things, so there's three projects on this plan that stick out to me as things that are going to require quite a bit of attention. One is the RFID project. 2 is the communication and marketing plan and everything that entails. And then 3 is membership campaign related to the Friends. We don't have we don't have a president right now, and we don't have a secretary right now, and I need to, the Friends are a smaller group, and so I need to support and help manage a way to increase their membership until that can sort of be taken on by them as a group again, because they're really busy working on their core fundraising efforts to keep the money coming in. So I have to sort of think of ways that we can drive membership and membership campaigns. And I have some ideas, but that is something that I don't want to just put on hold, because if we let too many years go by, we're just going to burn out our volunteer base, and then we'll be not in the place we want to be. So those are the 3 things that, all of these are important, but those are the 3 things that are sort of burning.
I remember vaguely, and of course things have changed so much since the pandemic, but there used to be either an organization, maybe Nancy, the Volunteer Center. There was something like that, but I frankly don't remember if it was a county thing, if it was a Southeast Wisconsin regional thing, or that it was something where people who were looking for volunteer opportunities. So I don't even know if it exists anymore. I could Google it on my phone to see if it does, but that was just the only other thing I could think of. But people will tend to volunteer in their own municipalities, I assume.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
But if there's a central clearinghouse for volunteer opportunities,
I'll look it up.
Are you writing it down? Or?
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And it maybe has dispersed since the pandemic, or
Gail, with an organization like Women's Club, so many people come in, and then when they find out that they expect you to go to district meetings and state meetings, and in some cases even national meetings, that's not in my bag.
Right.
I'm doing this for my community.
Right.
And so we lose a lot of people that way because, they want you to advance.
Are you in kind of a circumstance with the Women's Club where you could suggest the Friends to them?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, that would be, to me, that's maybe part of the answer. Groups like the Lions Club, any of those organizations too that tend to have a volunteer body by its very nature.
Or do things in collaboration with those other, so that people see you together and
and nothing else, help
goals.
Staff the garden walk, whatever to help lighten the load a bit.
Yeah, the only thing, and you'd be a perfect perspective for this, the one thing I wouldn't want to do is drain, the Women's Club is already very active and you're present, and if I wouldn't want to feel like they were being targeted to be overburdened. It's like, oh my gosh, now I'm in 7 volunteer groups and I have to do all these different things. I mean, it can't hurt to just sort of mention it, but
we don't want to steal their manpower either.
Exactly. And because your group, the Women's Club, is in its own right in different ways, but similarly serving the community and raising funds and things like that. And so I don't want to walk in and be like, hey, follow me, so it's,
I just want to know what all of the organizations are. Again, you're more well versed in that than I would ever be. I mean, the Lions, just trying to think of all the different, like when you drive into a city, usually all the organizations are around the sign when you drive in. So
there still is on Racine. There's that sign.
Yeah,
it kind of falls over Racine, sometimes.
So because that's the last thing I want to have happen too, is that we focus just on one. But saying, could we get there's no like volunteer board that meets like one person from each group or something like that.
Actually, there is, because of Dandelion Days.
Okay.
9 different community organizations put that together. They collaborate, all 9.
Yeah.
Well,
and all 9, of course, benefit from it.
Because you might find a few just from that group that maybe don't even know.
The other thing that we need to do is just our greatest ability to find people who love and want to support the library is by recruiting from here.
True.
I mean, if they're here in the
There you
building, they're users of the library, they love the library. And so, not that I wouldn't want to go talk about the Friends of the Library to other groups, but it's more about intentionally
That's
targeting
really a good point.
where it stands.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
I think we need to do tabling. I kind of want to do a t-shirt drive. I kind of want to, I need to figure out a way to make the membership, like the Lions Club, they have, ceremonies and vests and there's things that sort of show I'm a Friends of the Library,
Yeah.
like this branding almost. And so there's stuff like that I want to do, but I just need to be strategic about it. And spend
That's
some
an
time.
excellent point.
The pandemic addendum, I didn't know to include that or not. I mean, nothing has changed in that, these are the same bullet points from 2021 and 2020. I wasn't sure whether it was time to retire it. I'm not sure what I'll be doing in January with it, if anything. So,
Well,
I
it's
didn't
a
know.
place card holder. At least it's a place to
Yeah.
put it. Otherwise, it sits separately. And
Yeah, I mean,
same thing like with your routine duties, I guess, because these
Yeah.
are all actionable items. But I don't know how everybody else feels. I don't see any reason not to have it there. But you could also remove it at the same time.
I mean, it's not over. We're
Yeah.
still in a pandemic.
I was
even though
thinking about
things are
that as I was
different and
walking up
better.
here. This is my third winter walking. 3 years.
So I would say,
And just having come from Seattle this morning, nothing's changed there. You can't get into a restaurant or anything without a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Even outdoor,
Mhm.
even outdoor dining, we had to wear masks unless something's going in your
Yeah.
mouth. You have to.
Mm-hmm.
You have to show proof of vaccination everywhere you go.
Really? Wow.
well, then I'll leave it on. It
Yeah,
can't
I
hurt.
don't
and
know,
that's all I meant.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
It's still going
yeah,
on,
I don't
and it's
see-
not going to be
no.
over as of January
And then we
1st.
always know where it is, if you
Yep.
will.
And
And
I think that should be visited often because we don't know
Mhm.
the status as it changes.
All right, and then the routine duties, nothing really has changed there. It's just something to sort of acknowledge that really the action plan identifies special projects and new initiatives, but it's not all the staff do in any given day. There's also these daily tasks that come up, and so that's just to acknowledge and document that. So-
I had a question on cash registers.
Yes.
Where's there a cash register? Is it behind the desk?
Yeah, it's at the circulation desk.
I've never seen
It looks ancient. You should look at it. It's beige. so
Why?
you
Because
know-
I'm ancient?
No, because it's the color beige, and any technology that's the color beige is automatically old. But it still works. So.
Okay, it just when I first saw that, cash register?
I guess you've never had to pay a fine, Nancy.
I guess I haven't.
Well done,
Oh.
Nancy.
Actually, I don't
Raise
think
keys
I have.
on it.
It does.
Those
It
ching
does.
when you-
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
There you go.
Thank
Thanking
you.
you. Pass that
So
one on
yeah,
to you.
so
Wait a
so
minute
that's
here.
it. That's the plan.
Good work.
Any other?
Thank you, Brittany.
Let's see, where are we at here?
Looking
You-
forward to it. Looking forward to
So
some new things.
you did have as the item discussion and action. What action might you want us to?
So the action is just to recommend this draft to the full board, understanding that, Michelle may get home tonight and go, oh my gosh, we didn't talk about, X, Y, and Z, and you're within full rights to bring it up, at the full board meeting as a possible. But this draft generally to be presented to the full board.
Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion to, I guess, have an advisory vote? Is that the terminology you prefer?
Yeah.
Advisory vote to approve in principle the 2022 action plan draft.
I'll motion.
All right.
I'll second that.
All right. Any discussion? Since we've already discussed it all before the motion, we probably should have done a motion to begin with.
Bad habit.
Shame it. Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Next item, communications and miscellaneous business as authorized by law. Anyone have anything? It's mainly just a statement, not anything beyond that. If you need it to be in the next agenda, which I should probably wait for here if there's anything. where are we at for another meeting? I mean, now it's going to be a while again, isn't it? I mean,
For strategic planning?
Yeah, because you're going to be...
The next meeting would, because at the November meeting, the board will review the action plan and vote on it. And then strategic planning would not meet again until the next action plan.
Right. So it's going to be a while.
Yep.
So, okay. All right. So this would be the time to bring it up, but then it would necessitate a meeting. So
Yep.
not to have you not bring it up, but... Okay, hearing none. We can move on to adjournment. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
A motion?
All right. Thank you, Michelle.
I second.
Thank you,
You know what I'm thinking of? When I left my son this morning, he goes back to Anchorage and I come home. He said, and I told him what I had tonight. He said, why would they ask somebody your age to make a 5-year plan, mother?
And I hope he laughed after that.
I hit him.
Did we vote?
We didn't.
Yes.
Yes, okay. I think
Okay,
we're adjourned.
motion passes.
So aye.
3. Okay.
Yeah, we voted aye.
All right.